Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We're here for Monday market moves, what happened last week in the markets, and what we expect for next week. And thank you for allowing me to do work that I find meaningful. Thank you for giving me the most valuable commodity you have, your attention. I promise to do my very best to give you a return on it. Alrighty, let's go to the charts. And as we're on it, hit the like button, get the algo going. The way that YouTube knows to push this out to more people and grow the channel is from you by hitting that like button. So thank you for doing so. All right, starting out as always with the S&P 500, we reached new all-time highs. It's up 1.5% for the week. I would kind of expect a retracement here coming back down to the 50 moving average. So let's see what kind of move that would be from where we are now. What is it, 5%? No, 2.5%, something like that. I think that we're going to get a retouch of the 50. Although immediately following next week, I would expect the stock market to move up. But I do think eventually in the coming weeks, we're going to have a retracement back to this 50 moving average. So that might create a little trading opportunity. Oh, and GameStop, I threw this one out here just for fun, had quite the run up. And then quite the trip back down. So meme stocks are still in. I'm certainly not touching this thing with a 10-foot pole, but it does show you that we still are in clown world. And the dollar has shot back down, went through the 200 moving average, and then popped right back up. We had a CPI report that came out. I think it was 0.1% less year over year. Prices are still going up, but just not quite at the same clip, if you believe their numbers. This is out of Lobo Tigre's, his free newsletter. He says on the CPI, and basically he's talking about China here and Biden's new tariffs on China. He says Biden's new tariffs on Chinese goods are both a massive tax on Americans and a powerful brake on the global economy. They might, in time, protect some U.S. jobs, but the net effect is to raise the cost of living for all Americans. And most important, we've yet to see Beijing's response. If China throttles rare earth exports, so China has almost a monopoly on rare earths, so if they stop those exports, that'll be the next round of tit for tat. Keep in mind that if Trump wins this year, the trade war is likely to heat up even more. So very interesting. I would highly recommend his newsletter. It's my favorite price, free. There's a link down in the show notes if you want to sign up and check it out. All right, 2-year yields closed at 4.82. 10-year yields are south now of 4.5%. They are 4.42. And the one we care about, the 10-year minus the 2-year yield. Now it's actually come back down and it's doing exactly what we thought it would do. It's hitting, now we've only got 2 days of action on this, so we'll see if we're right. But I think that it's going to just kind of catch this 200 moving average and continue up. If it breaks to the downside of that, I would be surprised. And 1-month treasuries still paying north of 5%. Keep rolling them over in 1-month treasuries and collect your interest. TLT is up about 1/3 of 1%, not very much for the week. Actually, no, I don't think I updated that. It's up slightly more than that. Was at 90, now at 91, so that's up a little bit more than 1%. Yeah, as soon as the Fed starts cutting rates, we're going to have a great time with this 20. Gold is up 2% for the week, 24.17. The dollar is slowly dying. We are putting in a little bit of a rounding pattern here, kind of a cup, although it's not long enough. We need about 7 weeks on a cup pattern for it to actually be one, but is kind of putting in a rounding pattern here. It looks like for next week, the move for gold is up. Dow Jones Industrial Average, Peter Greenwich called it, is above 40,000. So we might actually be creating somewhat of a shorting opportunity here. That would be pretty interesting. This is gold divided by the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And what we're looking for is a repeat of like the 1980, something like that. We think that we are just in this dead heartbeat zone right here. As soon as gold goes up and the Dow Jones Industrial Average starts tanking, this chart will look like that, and then we'll switch out of gold and into the Dow Jones, but that is years away. Nothing that's going to happen anytime soon. Gold versus the S&P 500, same kind of deal. We think that we're just in like a period like right here. It's going to, slowly kind of reverse and take off to the upside. But right now, we do not think the bet is the S&P 500. It is precious metals. And, we are having on Adrian Day of Adrian Day Asset Management on the show. Go under the community tab, and there's a submit questions for Adrian Day. He is an expert in basically all the commodities that we follow, so put your questions in there. He also manages Peter Schiff's gold fund, so very, very smart guy. All right, GLD. Neil says, hi, Steve. Are you against going short on options? No, I did one right here. Worked out exactly the opposite of what I hoped. It basically just shot up to the upside. But no, I'll short them. It's just right now, the general market is in a bullish uptrend, which is taking everything else up. So I think running puts and stuff right now, betting that the market is going to go down is a losing game. This is a case in point right there. But yeah, if I think something's going to go down, I'll run some puts. All right, CEF up 6%, just shooting up. A lot of this fund is silver, like a third of it, 2/3 is gold. So, a physical fund, this is where you start, or at least where I started, and a great way to bet on the physical precious metals. GDX is up 4.5% for the week. Golden Cross is playing out. Now, we drew this resistance line back a while ago at 36, and we blew through that. So that is fantastic. Next level of resistance is going to be just up slightly. We have a tiny bit right back here. I wouldn't focus on that one too much. I would be more looking up at this region up here around like 40. GDXJ, same kind of thing. There was some resistance built up right there around 44. GDXJ is up 7% for the week. Another golden cross is actually playing out. And next level of resistance is going to be around here, up around 50. So another few bucks to go. Franco-Nevada, cheap prices on Franco-Nevada. That ship has sailed. I think the jig is up, and everyone knows that what a screaming deal this was. But fantastic, looking great. I would actually like to see this kind of consolidate sideways. Maybe we can get a little bit more downward pressure on the RSI, MACD, and stochastic. Might create another entry point, but I don't think that's going to happen. And Wheaton Precious Metals is up 4%. We have resistance around 57, which is pretty much where we're at now, 57, 58. And support is around 54. So I don't see any entries into this. All these gold stocks are pretty much in the clouds as far as technicals, but looking fantastic. Gold Royalty Corporation up 8% for the week. We bought a call option with a 250 strike, I think expiring in October. Yeah, in October. So we got a lot of time on this for it to get up to 250. I think people are just now starting to realize that their cash flow is going to increase over 100% this year. I think this is going to be an amazing gold royalty play. Cote is looking awesome and just printing money. And Gold Royalty Corporation is a beneficiary of that. Metalla Royalty up 6% for the week. Looking great. I don't see any entries. There was some entries back here around $2.90. That might be a neat limit order. It's coming above the 200 moving average. Slightly bearish here just because the 200 is moving down like this. But if we get this 50 moving above, which it looks like it'll happen, we'll have another golden cross. Origin Royalties up 3.5%. This bear flag has broken out. Don't see any entries into this at all. Just hang on, ride this one out for the precious metals bull market. I really think that we're just kind of in a hold period here for pretty much whatever you got. Don't sell anything. Well, going into that, I actually sold Kinross Gold. This was a long time holding for me. Well, long time, 3 years. I kind of nibbled into this, bought a pretty decent position. I basically doubled the position down here when it got down around $5, and then this thing just cratered. And since then, it's been performing really well. So in this account, the green arrow account, I needed to raise some cash. And honestly, I hadn't studied this company in a couple of months. And I like to study every company that I own for at least an hour a month. And this one had just kind of fallen on the wayside. I was pretty overweight gold and wanted to get a little bit more oil. So I moved this into Petrobras. Anyways, so sold Kinross. I don't even remember if I brought this one up on the show or not, but if I have, I'm out. And Barrick Gold up 5.5% for the week. Looking amazing. Their entry point was right back here, right on the golden cross, right when the price action had gotten down to just that point. I mean, this was pretty much textbook. It was just a fantastic entry point right here. Almost looks like you could run a retracement on that. Let's see. I don't remember if I've done this yet or not. Yeah, I mean, it's right in there, right around the 50% retracement. I mean, yeah, looking fantastic. No entries right now, but looks good. Anyone that got in on that point, you're already up 10%. Newmont still looking good, coming up on some resistance right here, right around 43. It's up about 3% for the week. Yeah, they had a great earnings call here. Amazing earnings. So it shot up. I think the market's just kind of trying to feel out a price right now. If gold continues to move up, this is going to do amazing. Along with Agnico Eagle, I think this is just part of your baseline portfolio here. Just have the three majors in there, Barrick, Newmont, and Agnico Eagle, and it's, you know, already just killed it. I mean, from our orders back here, we're up 60%. We thought at the beginning of the year that these were going to be an easy double, and it looks like that might happen a lot sooner than we thought. B2 Gold up 11% for the week. So the limit orders at 250 hit, the ones at 240 did not, but if you're in there, congratulations, you'd had a nice little run. If that's a trade, I would be taking profits, hitting right on this 200 moving average. If you're in this for the long haul, hold. Hold. All right, and Equinox. I got some questions from Pete and others. Up 7% for the week. Looking pretty good. As far as entry points here, let me run a retracement and we'll see what we look like here. Okay, so had an opportunity a week or so before. I would be more inclined just to wait here for the 200 moving average. If gold keeps moving up, that's what we call a pipe dream. But yeah, I just can't buy at points like this on the chart. I mean, look at the RSI, middle of the road. MACD is starting to angle up and stochastic just shot up. I'd want to wait for a pullback. I think we're going to get a pullback in gold and silver. I don't know that that'll happen next week, but usually when you get these wicks that shoot up like that, there's almost always a correction. And G Mining Ventures. Let's see, what do we got? Rick and I went over this one quite a bit. If you guys didn't see it, I went on the Rural Classroom with Albert and Rick, and we did kind of a deep dive here into G Mining Ventures. So let's see. Someone submitted a question on playing an arbitrage between Reunion and G Mining. So G Mining is buying Reunion Gold, and basically we were asking Rick, like, it looks like there's an arbitrage, like Reunion's a little bit cheaper, and if they're going to get bought up by G Mining, then, you know, which one do we really want? And he basically said that, you know, they're buying Reunion. You know, there's another project that is pretty close to Reunion called G2, and they're probably going to get bought up by Reunion. And the Lundins, the Lundin Mining, owns about 5% of G Mining. Eventually, if and when G Mining gets absorbed, it's probably going to be absorbed by the Lundins. So he said, rather than trying to dissect a little arbitrage and make a quick trade, he said, just get on the train. And, you know, either one, you're probably going to do very well. This one is going into production here pretty soon, and really excited about that one. Oh, we got one more limit order in here for $1.52. Should probably be 155, but I think I'm just being cheap. I've already got quite a bit right here. This will, if it hits or not, I would like it to hit, but if it doesn't, then I'm not going to lose any sleep. All right, Rio 2 up 20% for the week. I mean, amazing. The cup and handle pattern just played out perfectly. This was awesome. I'm not, maybe I am decent at picking bottoms, but man, that 30-cent limit order was pretty cool. Closed the week at 43 cents. They had a meeting and about financing. I wasn't able to make it. If anyone did, go ahead and put it in the comments below what you learned. I emailed the company to get a copy of it, and I'm still waiting to hear back. And let's see. Syme says, hi, Steve. What do you think of Calibre mining? Okay, I haven't looked into this other than just the charts. Yeah, this is kind of another one. Just all the gold charts are just skyrocketing right here. There is a fair amount of resistance around where it is now. I would say the next real level of resistance is probably going to be up in this range of around $1.90 or so. Maybe $2, $2.10. I'd really want to see some kind of correction here. I'm just not the guy that can just buy charts on breakouts like this. I got to see some kind of bottoming pattern here, you know, like down here all day long. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, you have like 1, 2 opportunities right there, 3 if you count this one. I just don't see any entries here, Syme. All right, and the story of the week, silver. Holy smokes, holy hamburgers, look at this thing. Okay, so us moving this white line right here actually worked, moving it up from 26 up to 30, and boom, we blew through that. I didn't think it would happen so fast in a week, but dare we move this one back up. The next kind of level of resistance is gonna be around 34. So if I back this chart up here, let me go to the weekly, and we will back it up. So 34 hits quite a bit of resistance going back here. Maybe as far up as 35, but pretty close. Just remember 34, 35 as like kind of your baseline. There is a tiny bit of resistance around 32. So that could be the next real one. But the major resistance going here and then going back to the 1980s is going to be about $34. I don't know. Usually when you have wicks like this that just shoot up, I mean, it's up almost 10% for the week. There's usually some kind of correction. Although that is a pretty bullish looking bar right there. I mean, had it gone up like that and then come back down, kind of like this one right here, see how this one shot up and then came back down, that usually means it's going lower. When you have ones like this, I mean, that is very bullish looking. So I could see some, I think about the only certain thing I could say is there's going to be more volatility, but look at how stretched the technicals are here. RSI is way up, MACD's way up, Stochastic's way up. I'm going to say that for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, we're going to actually get some increased price action, maybe up to 32 or even higher, but we should definitely have a correction. I don't know that we'll get all the way back down here to 26, but I would be floored if we didn't test $30 again. So if you're not in silver yet, that would be kind of my base case right there, is having some limit orders on these stocks depending on when silver retraces back to 30. Gold silver ratio. We thought last week that this line was going to hold. Happy to be wrong. This is the trend line of gold divided by silver. So the ratio was up in the low 80s, fell all the way down to 77. The next real level of support for this is going to be around 75, just lining up with some back support right here. So looking like silver's going to outperform gold according to this chart next week. SILJ, amazing. This is fantastic, up 8%. Kind of rare that SILJ is up less than the metal itself, but I think it's going to play catch up next week. It usually does. And Pan American Silver up 7% for the week. Cup and handle played out, breaking to the upside. So long term here, I think that we have a measured move to the upside. We'll take the bottom of the cup to the top right here, and we got $8.50. And so if we run that again from the bottom of the cup up about $8.50, $28 measured upside target. We're at almost 22 now. So I think we got a little ways to go. I'm not very good at betting the top ends of the charts here. I'm much better at betting the bottoms. But if you got more courage than I do, I don't think it's a huge mistake in the long run. Silvercrest Metals, our little darling. We took profits probably about 2 weeks before we should have. We took about 20% of our original bet off the table. It looked to me around this level was when it was kind of hitting the top of 28, which had a boatload of resistance. That's one of the reasons I trimmed the position. But yeah, a little early on that. I don't know that I'm going to be selling any more gold or silver stocks for a while, because I think we got some room to run. And Endeavor Silver, this thing just keeps smoking it. Coming up on some resistance though. So see, if you line this up where the price action is now, boom, 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 boom. I mean, just like all over the chart here, it's kind of hitting some resistance. So silver keeps running. This is going to go as well as a leveraged bet, because a junior company here. But yeah, I can't bet these top ends of the charts, but man, what an incredible move. And Brian says, I have a list of half a dozen silver stocks that doubled in price this year, and a list of silver stocks that went up by only 50% at the same time. Only 50%. That is a first world problem. During this pullback, I have focused on buying from the first list. Good move. CDE is one and First Majestic is the other. All right. Brian, if you're so inclined, if you could put that list in the show notes, we would all appreciate it. So CDE, Core Mining, I think this one's out of Idaho. I can't remember. Anyhow, had a bump up here. I mean, yeah, what a price action move. That's over 100% just since February here, right? If my math is right. Yeah, 135, 140%. That's amazing. Nice catch, man. I wasn't in this one. I know Rick's talked about it, but I only have so much time every month that I could study. But yeah, well done. It is touching on some resistance there. Yeah, maybe a correction, but if silver goes up, then none of this matters. And First Majestic Silver. So I've been in this one for a couple of years. I'm not sure if I'm in the black yet or not, because I doubled the position right back here at 577. I'd have to look in the brokerage account. But anyhow, move up. What's interesting about this has moved up less than it did when silver was back here at like 27, 28, and we're up at 30. Sometimes these take a little bit to catch up. First they move into the metal, then they branch into the miners. But yeah, what an incredible move. I mean, if you caught it back here, 440, what is that, 80%? That's pretty awesome. I don't particularly, how can I say this? I'm not a huge fan of First Majestic as far as a company. One of the main reasons I'm in this is because it really has a cult following, and when silver moves, I mean, this company's a lot in gold now. They used to be a lot more in silver, but they're a lot in gold, and they just got into that a few years ago to help pay the bills because silver was so cheap and it wasn't doing it. You know, maybe once Jarrett Canyon comes online, but I think there's just a lot better companies out there. I'm in this for the cult following. This is the first one that comes up on a Google search. So as silver starts to ramp up, I think this really could have a massive parabolic move when it does so, and that's why I'm in it. All right, and copper, paging Dr. Copper, up 8% for the week. Closed the week above $5, $5.05. Copper is looking amazing, and the way we are playing that is COPX and COPJ. COPX up 7.5% for the week. I don't see any end in sight. I actually contemplated taking some profits right here, just lining up with some back resistance back here. But I'm glad I didn't because it's looking amazing. I bet in a couple of years from now, we're going to be staring at $8 copper and this is going to be a lot of fun. COPJ up 9% for the week, so the juniors outperformed the majors, which is exactly what we want to see. This fund is reaching all-time highs. Now remember, this IPO'd over a year ago, just nibbling on pullbacks here, trying to catch little bottoms or as close as we can to it, and just had a massive move to the upside in the last few months. How much does that move? Almost 50%, so keep it running. Arizona Metals up 12% last week. We set a limit order of 153. If you put it in for 153, congratulations, it hit, and you did it like literally the day before they they introduced new management. So this is from Michael Gentile, and with his permission, he says this about the management change of Arizona Metals. I think this management change was the 100% right move for shareholders. This stock is by far the cheapest high-quality developer in the copper gold space, mainly because the street has lost faith in management's ability to take the project to the next level. In the context of screaming hot copper and gold prices, this stock should be 100 to 200% higher today than where it is trading currently. Bringing in a CEO and chairman with a long history of success and a history of building, fixing, and selling large mines in Canada is a huge positive for the story and tells investors that these two established mining executives see the same huge potential that I do in Arizona Metals. I would like to congratulate and commend Mark and Paul for the incredible job they did identifying one of the best underdeveloped gold and copper volumetric massive volcanogenic massive sulfide ore deposits, say that 5 times fast, in the world, acquiring it for an incredible price and the great exploration success they have had growing the deposit. I also commend them for having the humility to do the right thing and hand off the company at this stage of development. I was buying the stock very aggressively yesterday, plan to do more today. I also plan to speak to the new management next week, as I'm told they are setting up investor calls with key shareholders and analysts. Once I do, I will come on a video to discuss this in detail. So looking forward to that. We asked Rick about this one, and he thought a management change was a good idea. Uranium closed the week at 91.25, up slightly. So that is looking pretty good. And if we go to the Sprott physical uranium site, we can see that it is actually trading at a slight premium. So you can get $22.48 worth of uranium, but it costs you a penny more. That's a rare set of circumstance. And look at this, 65.1 million pounds of uranium unavailable to the utilities. We added 200,000 pounds to this trust, and those 200,000 pounds are our favorite pounds because they're unavailable to the utilities. So, Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, just still tracking along. We were buying this back here when it was at a 12 or 14% discount. Now it's actually trading at a premium. So if you're a trader, you could certainly take profits right there. Pretty cool. And let's see, 200,000 pounds added. Yes, Cameco, look at this, looking amazing. Up 4% for the week, is tapping on some resistance right here. Kind of a cuppish pattern, but this retraced just a little bit too much, I believe. Let me double check here. Did we do this last week? What is that? 57, sorry. There we go. Okay, I swear I've done this before. That could be a cup and handle. I don't like that it bounced below this. But either way, we think these uranium miners are going to do especially well, especially with the new Russian ban that is going through. And, you know, I think these American companies are going to do very well, and we're already starting to see that. Kazatomprom up 7% for the week. Everyone that bought right back here, 38.50, right when it hit the 200 moving average, well done. You are up 20% in only a few weeks, so good on you. Had a monumental move up right here. Usually when you get a wick like that, you're usually going to get kind of a little bit of a correction, and that would make sense because we are hitting on some resistance. URA up 4.5% for the week. Support is around $30, And resistance is kind of right where it is now. See, just tapping right back there. If the equities move up, then that's not going to matter. It's going to blow past that. Hope it does. URNM is up 5.5% for the week. We do have some support around $55, kind of right in this range here where it gapped up right back here. And then some resistance right up around, where was it? 57, I think, or 59? Yeah, 59 bucks will be about where the resistance is at. About $1.50 away from where we are now. I still think a limit order around 50 bucks would be awesome. Don't know if it'll hit that. Hopefully it does. URNJ up 7% for the week. We have support at $24 right down here, and we have resistance pretty much right where we are now. You know, right around 30, somewhere around there. And UROY is, oh, sorry, we got some ratios here I wanted to go over. Okay, I got this one from Justin Hune, Uranium Insider off of Twitter, and I pulled up this pattern a while ago, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so this is URNM divided by the spot price of uranium. And so if we go back here to the inception of URNM, we can see that the equities underperform the commodity, then the equities outperform the commodity. Uranium equities got way ahead of themselves and then topped out here for quite a while. And then after that, the commodity has been outperforming the miners. Now, check this out. Right back here in February, the miners start outperforming the metal. So, do you want to be in the metal? You want to be in the miners? I think the miners are going to be the place to be. We could be having a little moment like we had back here. So for a period of a few months, the miners outperform the metal, and then the metal outperform the miners. And right now, the miners are outperforming the metal. And what's kind of interesting, I'm not a huge fan of these trend lines, but this is somewhat telling. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those didn't quite hit it, but they did hit the 400. And then now we've broken to the upside. So this does look like a breakout for the miners compared to the metal. This is URNJ divided by URNM. So this is showing that for the last year, the juniors have been outperforming the majors. And to really get an eye on that, this is URNJ divided by the combined value of Kazatomprom and Cameco. Upward trend, outperforming. Juniors are outperforming the majors. This is adding in the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, and even with the commodity doing as well as it is, the juniors are still outperforming the two majors and the commodity itself. All right, now UROY is up 8% for the week. It looks like our option might actually pay off here. We still have quite a bit of time on our option, not until October does it expire. Looking really bullish. We broke through the 200-day moving average. Looking fantastic. Hopefully it keeps running. And Energy Fuels had a monumental move. See, this is where I think we were talking about this a year and a half ago with Justin and with Rick, that we think that the American producers, especially with this, Russian uranium ban, are going to do better than, say one somewhere else on the planet, right? And I think that's exactly what's happening right here. So it looks like our option is finally going to get paid off. We thought that this was going to be worth almost nothing back down here, but it's finally started to make a run. Almost took our money off the table, but I think this doesn't expire until September, so I think we can let this one run. Denison Mines also had a nice jump, up 8% for the week. Looking great. I would say that any pullbacks around this 50 moving average might be interesting entry points. Right now, that's around a little north of $2. Next Gen Energy looks like they've started to recover a little bit since that downdraft right there after their last report came out. Market did not like that, but it looks like it caught a bid and is moving up. Didn't hit the 200 moving average, but did blow through the 50 moving average. So that's pretty bullish. Global Atomic Where are we? Dennison. Oh, this is interesting. Going back to next gen. Christopher says, thanks, Steve. Been watching the hockey playoffs and noticed the Vancouver Canucks are sporting next gen on their helmets. So maybe they invested in some marketing here in hockey. I wonder how much that cost. And maybe that's what shot the price up. Who knows? Okay, Global Atomic is up 4% for the week. I haven't really tracked any of the news in Niger. If you have, go ahead and put it in the comments below. Let everyone know. And any entry points here? There might be a little bit of a retracement there. Let's see if we plot this, that. Yeah, kind of hitting in a Fibonacci there. Maybe if we get a double bottom right here, like coming just hitting on that level, and then bam, that might give you an entry point. GoVX up 11% for the week. So this is the power of these juniors, is they are just so leveraged to it. But you know, you can't negate the risk that you have in Niger right now. The U.S. is pulling out of their drone military base. Who knows what they're going to do with that one? I don't know if we'll see sanctions coming or not. All righty, and oil is up 2% for the week. Thought there might be a risk of this one breaking down. I don't know. I'd really like to see it just kind of consolidate sideways here, maybe bleed off some of this RSI, bleed off some of this MACD even more. But although that is pretty compelling, look at the RSI right there. See how the purple line moves above the 14 simple moving average of the RSI? So it just pounced up like that. Usually when that happens, you get a run up. I mean, look at this one down here and look at the price action and see how it went above that yellow line and then just rode it all the way up. So hopefully this is a breakout for that and oil will continue higher. If that's the case, you can leverage that and collect some dividends with XLE. We've got up about 1% for the week, shot down, created a little buying opportunity there and then shot up. Do have a cup and handle here in a lot of these oil stocks, including our favorite ExxonMobil, up 1.5% for the week. Man, it's just obeying that 50 moving average right there. Maybe that is a good point to buy at it if you don't have any ExxonMobil yet. I'm pretty biased because we got it back down here under $100 and it's had quite the run up since then. So remember, when you get them real cheap like this, your dividend is kind of locked into the price that you bought it. So, you know, down here, you're collecting over a 4% dividend. Up here, I think it's about 3 now. Let's see. Dividend. Yeah, 3.18. And Blackstone Minerals, we had some limit orders hit. That was pretty amazing. So usually when these dividends come out, the share price will drive down. They also had a little bit of a bad earnings call here. Not terrible, but it was nice because we had some limit orders hit, one at 16 and then another one at 1575. We've got one more in there for 1550 and then a pipe dream limit order down here for $15. Freehold royalties up 1% for the week. We have oodles of support around 1350. So see right on that line right there, that's where you got a lot of support. You know, this is great for dividends. I think they pay 9 cents every month. Yeah. And just collect your dividends and go fishing. Woodside Energy down 1% for the week. The chart has finally started to reverse right here. We got an option for 719. So we need this thing to move. But hopefully it continues up to the upside. I don't see any buy points in this right now. Rick still has got to do some work on Woodside. But we do like that the RSI has bounced up here and hopefully it catches this and just continues moving. Petrobras down 12%. So they paid 2 massive dividends right here. And then after that, they had a bad earnings call. I mean, not terrible, only a surprise of 5.5%, but that was enough to drive the stock price from 1750 all the way down to $15. We had 2 limit orders in here. I think one was for like 16 something, and then the other one was for like 1550. And luckily it gapped down so much that our entry points right here in these 2 accounts was $15.25, basically right where it opened. So pretty cool. Love that about limit orders. You know, you can be driving your car or whatever, if you're not right in front of the screen, the computer does it for you. So we got two more limit orders back here. So this is basically the Kinross sell right here, is this green arrow. So remember, selling on the top end of the chart and buying on the bottom end of the chart, trading gold for dividend paying oil. We got one in there, and then we have limit orders back down here at $14.50. Hopefully it hits. And Laura says, any good entry points for BORR drilling or Transocean? Okay, so here's BORR. Entry points, I would say, right probably around here would be $5.25, something like that. I might be able to zoom in and get a little bit better. Yeah, I call it 5 1/4. I think might be a good starter position right there. And for rig Transocean, ooh, that looked like a setup. I think we just brought this one up. Someone else submitted this, and that went through the Fibonacci, so I wouldn't have caught that. Okay, I would say for rig, maybe your entry point would be around there, something like that, like 560, and then another one you could do down here around 520 or so. See, I'm just lining up back here. Let me go to the weekly, and that might give us a little better. Boy, that is just sold off, isn't it? Yeah, maybe around this 200 weekly. That would be pretty amazing if it got there. What is that? $4.50. That's probably not going to happen. But if it did, I think that'd be a great entry point. Maybe starter positions right down here, just north of $5, and then stink bid down here around 450. All right, hope that helps, Laura. And natural gas continuing to climb, $1.50. I think that ship has sailed, and we moved above the 200 moving average. Looks like we might get a golden cross coming up here in the next month or so. Devon, what is this? Natural gas. Oh, natural gas divided by oil, and that historically cheap natural gas divided by oil looks like it's probably over. So the last time we had levels like this was back in 2012, way back here, and we just hit on it for a few weeks and then shot right back up. So oil's getting cheaper, natural gas is getting more expensive, driving this chart up. Devon Energy just consolidating down. This is looking really good as far as a possible second entry. I think I may actually add to my position when it gets down here around 47, if it does. There's a decent amount of back support right around 47. On top of that, it hits the 200 and the 100 moving average. I'd like to see this just continue to come down, and then look at these. Look at the technicals down here. See how they're kind of getting almost down into the buy zone? Just want to see a little bit more pressure coming down, and then we can snag it again. If we run a retracement, the retracement just falls right in that zone right there. So that kind of becomes like BHP was a while ago, like Barrick was a while ago, like right in the Fibonacci, right on a 200 moving average. I mean, like, what more do you want? Equitable up 6% for the week. I probably need to kill this limit orders for $33. If it gets down to there, something's probably wrong with the company. But looking fantastic. Up, what did I say? 6% for the week. Don't see any entries here. As a matter of fact, we got a fair bit of resistance around where it is now. But if you wanted to get into this company, I would say maybe first entry is around the 200 right there, around like 39. And then again down here, like 37.50, that'll get you started. And coal, thermal coal, closed the week at 140. So this seems to be right on track with what Matt Warder was saying, just kind of in the shoulder season here, hoping that we get a reversal up here in the next few months. And met coal, same kind of thing, shoulder season. Here's the last shoulder season, the one before that. So just start betting the met coal companies down here. One easy way to play that is the coal ETF, COAL. I think we're going to regret not having bought more back here. We just didn't have the information that we do now. I think I'm going to raise these limit orders up around this 50 moving average. I think I said that last week. I'm actually going to do it this time. And I think just kind of anywhere around this 50 moving average, 23.25, 23.10, 20, maybe 23.50. That's a little high. But yeah, I think we need to continually start scaling into this. We've only got about a month or so left. Glencore shooting the moon, up 6.5%. Remember, your dividends are going to suffer pretty bad here for the next year or so. We go back here and they were 55 cents consistently, and then now they're 11. They had to pay for tech somehow, and that's coming out of the dividends. But by backing up the truck when everyone hated it, we're making money. Alpha Metallurgical Resources flat for the week, falling underneath that 200 moving average, which is pretty cool. Hoping that our last limit order hits here for 275. I think it will. It's looking like this chart is looking like it's going to break down a little bit more. And if it does, our limit order will snag it. Warrior Met Coal. I think we missed an opportunity right here. So I drew the Fibonacci. The 61.8% retracement hit right on the 50 and the 100 moving average. Yeah, I think that was our buy point right there. Now what we can wait for is hopefully this comes up for forming a double bottom. And see, we got our limit orders down here starting at like $52. That's probably not going to happen. So if we get a double bottom right here, I think that would be a pretty good entry point, and that should be a pretty nice entry point for the shoulder season. And BTU, so we did a couple of purchases in this one. We have one more limit order back here for 21.50. This was Matt Waters' laser eyes. Anything below 22 bucks was a go. We actually even ran an option on this thing. I think we did a strike price of 23, so it's got to get up to like right there. I could fully see this going up and touching the 50 or the 200 moving average, which would pay out very well for the option. But we're also putting this in the long-term portfolio as well. Just the yellow arrows here are the options. And Bitcoin, still trading in that flag pattern, kind of towards the upper range of that. So if you're playing this one, you want to buy it towards the bottom end of this flag pattern. Eventually, this should break out to the upside if I'm reading the charts right. But, don't pay up at the top here. If you can, get a deal down here. Platinum, this is awesome. Up 8% for the week. Closed at $1,091. Still have support around 1,000. So basically right around right here is support. But what's pretty cool here, again, not a huge fan of these trend lines, but this is semi-compelling here. I mean, you got like a wedge pattern coming down right here. Now, back here, it did break out of that slightly, but with more confirmation points along the way, I think we're getting pretty close to a confirmed breakout here. I mean, this is looking pretty cool. Hopefully next week we can remove this trend line and start just focusing on horizontals here. But looking great for platinum. Playing that in PPLT. Remember, we started buying this over a year ago just on pullbacks. Pretty happy with our position in platinum and palladium. Looking awesome. As far as this fund goes, next level of resistance is going to be around 102. And palladium above, I'm sorry, this is platinum divided by gold. So as far as like, I got a question on if I'm taking profits in PPLT and SPPP, and the answer is no, sir, because this is what I'm waiting on. So this is a chart going back to the 80s, and this is platinum divided by gold. So this tells you how many ounces of gold you can get with 1 ounce of platinum. And so right now it's 0.45. So for 0.45 ounces of gold, you can get 1 ounce of platinum. But look back here, 2 to 1. So it would take 2 ounces of gold to buy 1 ounce of platinum. I don't know that it'll get back up to there, but I certainly think we have at least a double in store for this. If it goes to a ratio of 1 to 1, I'm going to liquidate half my position, and my physical platinum I'll turn into physical gold. I look forward to the day where I can turn in 1 platinum coin and get 1 gold coin, because at the time I bought it was even cheaper than that. I fully expect that we could have a re-rating of this, and with all the turmoil in South Africa and what's going on in Russia and Zimbabwe, the top 3 producers of the metal, I don't know when it'll happen. I just think it will. All right, now Palladium above 1,000 as well, up 3.5% for the week. All right, let me go to the day here. There we go. Okay, don't see any entries into this. Just looking nice. Had a little bounce right down here, right where we said the support was, right around 925. And next resistance, well, I mean, if you don't count the 50 moving average, which is pretty much where it's at now, the next level of resistance is going to be around, what is that, 1080, something like that. Where you can play that is PALL. Best entry points that I see are going to be around an $85 limit order. That lines up with a lot of support back there. And the SPPP. So we were talking about Steve Penny from Silver Chartist. He was like, this looks like a pretty good trading opportunity right down here around 950. And he was absolutely right. Shot through the 200 moving average. I debated putting a trade on in here, and maybe it's just because I'm thrifty. I wanted to wait and see it get down here to $9, which never happened, so I missed it. But we've been in this one for a while, so not concerned. NIKL, man, up 7.5% for the week. I'm hoping we didn't miss the train on this one, although we got in back here. This does pay a really good dividend, so don't be too deceived by how far up the chart that is. And these down here are more than doubling our share count. So we're not in the black yet, but I think we're pretty close. Had a limit order that hit here for 1375 and then one more down for 1325. This may not hit. Let me share my screen here. And I got this from Lobo Tigre's tweet. France admits it's lost control of parts of New Caledonia, a little island off the coast of Australia, the world's third largest producer of critical EV metal, nickel. So that's what happened in the nickel market. I think that that's why we had such a jump, and hopefully they regain control of that and this corrects, and then we'll be able to get more positions in nickel. Rick's believes that the nickel market is probably going to get punished for the next year or two. If he's right, we'll get more buying opportunities. If not, then we're off to the races. All right, and iron ore holding flat for the week at 117, and leverage bets on that. BHP doing really amazing here. Would have loved to have an option right down here like we did there. You know, I mean, just little moves like this, you know, it doesn't need to move a whole lot in options world. And, you know, I think this bet we made, see, it only moves like 3.5%, but because of the way it was dated, I think we made like 20 or 30%, and pretty nice in a week and a half. You know, this one as well, we were looking at this one for an option, but it was just too expensive. Everyone thought that BHP would go up, so everyone was betting on that. In order for you to bet these things, you know, whenever you sell a stock, there's got to be someone else that's willing to buy it, or vice versa. Right? So if I was willing to run a call on this one, then someone else has to think that it's going to go down, and no one did. So the price was astronomical, and of course everyone was right. They could see the same chart we do, and BHP shot up. So there was an opportunity down here to add to the long-term portfolio if you got it. Yeah, looking great for BHP. Rio Tinto, same thing. Copper, iron ore is just killing it, and so are these companies. Leverage bets on that. These are probably pipe dream limit orders. Probably going to have to wait for another dividend for this one to iron something out so that we can, or bad earnings call or something, so that we can get another position in that. But right now we've only got about a 50%, maybe 40% position of what we'd like in this thing. Yeah, sometimes that's the downside of being too cheap and setting limit orders that aren't quite realistic. All right, and VALE up 4% for the week. We closed the option on this. This was rapidly reaching expiration, and I think we made out for like a 1 or 2 or 3% profit. I was just grateful to get my money back because this had just completely sold off, done exactly the opposite of what I thought it would do. But I think the run up in metals prices helped it quite a bit, and we got out. This is Alphaman Resources. So this is a tin company. Got some questions on tin. So if you're going to bet on tin, this is probably going to be the one that you want to grab. As far as an entry point, I do not see one right now. You know, I never looked at this. Let's see what their dividends are. Oh, Well, that's decent. Has it been consistent? 1, 2, 3, semi-consistent. Okay. Well, a lot of risk with this one. A lot of risk, like Rick talked about in our last interview. But if you're going to get an entry position in this, I would say probably around 80 cents. And let me line this up here so I just don't talk. There we go. Yeah, probably around 80 cents. And then maybe down here around 73. And then maybe you get lucky with the 200 moving average down here around 70 cents. Okay, last option that's probably, this is a spread, so we either got to sell the whole thing or nothing at all. Not working out at all for Unity Software. Maybe we get a bump, maybe we don't. Expiring in June 21st. Alrighty, well, I hope you guys got something out of that. Make sure you submit the questions for Adrian Day in the community tab. And thank you for always being here. I love you guys. Thanks for all the questions. And support the show. Hit the like and the subscribe and share this with anyone that you think needs to hear it. It's probably your buddy that can't stop talking about tech stocks. You have yourself a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you next time.